back to my channel. It's your girl Selin Ikani. If this is your first time seeing my face, welcome to this beautiful family. I would like to use this opportunity and time to appreciate all our new family members that have joined us recently. I am so happy to have you all on board. If this is your first time here, please drop our favorite emoji in the comment section so we'll give you a warm welcome. So lovelies, I'm a YouTuber. I make vlog videos about fashion, lifestyle, travels, tutorials and motivation because I believe in creating the difference and it starts with me. Today we're going to be making a simple gown. How to cut and make a simple gown is just, like I said, from the materials I bought, and I want to just make gown for work. So guys, you know we don't like to waste much time talking. Let's get right into it. So these are all we need for the tutorial for today. For the gown we're going to be making, I have this silk material. Is about 2 yards, so I'm just going to be making a short gown. First off, you fold your material into two, because we're going to be measuring the half length and we're going to be doing for just the front. So you take your bust measurements, because I think that's the biggest part up. You align it with the material. So if you're trying to save material, you align it and make sure that the material is probably 2 or 3 inches from the normal body measurement. So now we make a straight line, and then from this straight line, which is going to be our shoulder line, is where we're going to be starting all our measurements. From the shoulder line, take your length, that is the length of the half length, and add 2 or 1.5 inches for stitch allowance. You align it and then use your meter rule to make a straight line. That would be your waist for the half length. So as you can see, the material is so silky, it keeps falling off. I'm trying to pin it down. This is just like a common technique to just keep the material in place. Next, we're going to be getting the bust point. You take from your shoulder to your bust point, that would be your bust line. And then you also use your meter rule to make a straight line to have your bust line. I've gotten the 3 lines that is needed: your shoulder line, your bust line, and then your waistline. So we're going to be adding the body measurements. First, we're going to start with your bust line. We're going to add the actual body measurement of the bust to the bust line right now. So I'm just dividing the measurements, the actual body measurement, by 4. After you divide it by 4, you add 1.5 or 2 inches. It depends on your choice, 1.5 or 2 inches, or your material rather, 1.5 or 2 inches. Then you mark it as your bust point. That's your body measurements, your actual body measurements for the bust. So here I had to mark again because I had to adjust my fabric. It was too much. After the stitch allowance was marked, I had more fabrics and it was going to be a waste. I was going to cut it out, so I had to adjust it to fit in and just cut out a little. So next, we're going to be putting the actual measurement of the waist divided by 4, and then 1.5 stitch allowance for your stitches. So after all this is done, what we're going to next now is the neckline. I'm going to be going in by 4 inches from the neck downwards. I'm going in by 4. And for the side, that would be for the shoulder area, I'm going to be going in with about 4 or so. So I would mark it and then cut it out. So I actually went in too deep with the first one, so I had to redo it. I had to adjust it because I didn't want the neckline to be too wide. From the neckline to the handhole, I'm giving 4, and that is where I'm going to be marking my handhole. You just need to curve it. Just follow from the one you have up and just curve it to the down. Then now I will just align all the markings I've gotten, just align them together, and that's how you're going to be cutting out your half length. So this is me cutting it. realized I've not done this. For the shoulder slope, you go in by 1/2 inch and then you align it straight to the top to give it this slant on the shoulder. The shoulder is not actually straight, it has a little slope going down, so you give it that slope. And then I'm just going to cut all the material according to my markings and put everything right in place. This is what we have after the whole measurement calculation and cutout. So we're going to be using this to cut out the back, and we're going to be having 2 inches allowance for our zip at the back. So that is what you see me here doing. I'm aligning on the material and I'm making the 2 inches for the zipper allowance. So I actually wanted to give it upper neck at the back. I wanted the front to be different from the back. I marked this, but you're going to notice that I changed it later because I changed my mind. I later realized that I should just let it go the same direction. The neckline should be the same thing. So I marked it and I was trying to cut it off, but later I would change it in the video. So just keep watching. I'm going to like change it and cut it to this actual, to what we actually have in the front. Made, and I'm just trying to follow up with the front space and cut it accurately. So after that is being done, you have to make open the zipper allowance. You align it, you align your scissors and then cut it open. Just cut it straight down open, and that is all for our half length for the front and the back. This is ready to go. We are having here is we're going to be cutting from our waist to our knee. This is the down part of the gown, and then I'm trying to align the material or fabric in 4 phases, so we'll cut both the front and the back at once. So I'm just putting the fabric together. Like I said earlier, it's silky, it keeps falling up. I just keep arranging and arranging so I don't just make mistake. So first off, you make a straight line. This is our culture already. Make a straight line at the beginning of your fabric, and that is going to be our waistline. Earlier it was our shoulder line, now it is our waistline. It depends on what you are making, it depends on what you are cutting, then that's how we're getting the name and title for our line. So this is our waistline, and from this waistline we're going to be getting our hip line. So I'm going to take direct measurements from the waist to the hip. You already know how to make that measurement on your body, just from your waist to the beginning of your hip to get to your hip line. So that is what I'm just marking. I'll use my meter rule to make a straight line, and that would be my hip line. So from here, I'm going to really want you to pay attention, close attention to how we're going to get our length. You know, we already have about 16 inches for our half length, so that you are going to be taking out because that is already part of this measurement. So you're taking that 16 inches out to get the full body length. That's what you're going to be marking, and then after that you add, after the actual measurement, you add 2 inches allowance for stitch allowance. That is what I'm aligning and marking to get my hemline. I'm so sorry, lovelies, this is actually folded into 4. I hope you know, because it's the other part, that is the back part, which I'm showing you right now. I later realized this was not in focus. I'm so sorry. You already know that this is our zipper allowance at the back, so I gave it 2 inches, and that is what I measured earlier by the side. So now we're going to be adding the body measurement. The waist measurement is divided by 4. So I'm dividing it just like I tell you in my videos that I use my meter rule to make divisions because it is easy. So I use the meter rule to do the calculation, and then I'm going to be putting it on the fabric. I'm going to be adding allowances for stitches. We already know this, that in all our calculations and measurements, we are adding 1.5 or 2 inches allowance to our fabrics. So from that waist measurement, I'm going to the hip line. I'm also dividing the hip by 4, and I'm adding the stitch allowance, which is 1.5. It depends on what you want or your fabric. For me, I'm adding 2 inches so that even when I make mistakes and I want to curve the edges of the fabric again, I can actually take out 1/2 inch. So that is what I'm marking. And then for the M line, you still do the same thing. You divide your hip by 4, and then you add 1.5 inch stitch allowance. That is just what I'm doing. And then when you are done, you can use your free hand to align all the marks or points together, or you use the hip curve. I'm just using my hand to align it because the fabric is not staying well. So I knew I couldn't use the hip curve. I just had to keep pressing the fabric down with my palm and just align the points. I actually didn't put this to the right point because I don't want the gown to be tight in the new part. I want it to be free. That's why I didn't align it to the marking we have there. I'm sure you can see now that the fabric is trying to come back into focus. You can see the 2 inches allowance I gave for the back zip. That is it showing right there. So I'm just going to cut it off, and then we would be done with this. Out the lining. Please don't mind me, I was not able to get the actual color, the fabric color in the lining, so I had to go for something that has same color but different shades. This is actually lighter than my fabric, but it's of same color, just different shade. Don't be like me. If you are sewing and you need lining, please, you can actually do well to look for your actual fabric color. I just had to make do with what I could get at this moment, and I'm sure it's still going to do well with the fabric because it's of same color but just different shade. So I'm just going to put all our materials that were cut out, fabrics rather, I keep calling them materials, fabrics rather. I'm just going to put all the cutouts on it and follow up through all what we have made and cut the lining accordingly. Forgetting that we have the sleeve to cut out. I'm taking from my shoulder to the length that I've already made. I want it to be a bit long, so I took it for 15. I added 1.5 stitch allowance. Then I'm taking the round sleeve measurements, which is 6, and then I added stitch allowance also. What I did previously before I did the round sleeve was the width of the sleeve. Then you take from the shoulder to the 9 inches armhole, and then you curve it round to get to that point, and you have your armhole. This is what we have, and I'm going to be cutting it out. So I hope you guys understand. If you don't, let me know. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I hope you learned something from it. I'm going to be dropping the continuation of the video in my next post, so stay tuned and enjoy. Thank you for watching. Thank you everyone. I love you all. Do well to subscribe to the channel, like, comment, share, and let's have more family members. I love you all for your support and encouragement. Anything you do not understand, anything you need answers to, always reach out to me in the comment section, and I'm here to answer all your questions. Thank you all. Bye.